Welcome back, viewers. I am Orpheus, and I would like to introduce you to your host. He has gone on record to say he will never look his age, and I truly believe him. He has recently downloaded and played the demo for the upcoming game Resident Evil 6, which was awesome. I give you the Mount Vernon Kid. Dudes, everybody, how's everybody doing out there? Mount Vernon Kid here, once again coming to you with another comic review, as always. Mr. Osiris, Mr. Orpheus, thank you very much, as always. So, here we are on, what is this, week 3 for the zero issues, pretty much. And like I've been saying, and I think there have been a lot of people I've talked to about the zero issues, and they've been saying the same thing, basically, some of the stories have been good, some of them, the retelling of the origins have been good, and some people just told me straight, I don't like them. But by far, if I was to rate them, number one, there would probably be a tie this week. It would be a tie between Green Lantern Corps Zero and another issue that just came out this week for Zero, which I'll get into. So let's kick off the interview. And yeah, you heard what Mr. Orpheus said. Yeah, RE6, download the demo, people, whether you got Xbox 360 or PS3. Download that demo. Great. Can't wait. October 2nd. Just another week. But that was just for my gamers out there. If you want to, my gaming channel is another channel. This is my comic book channel. So here we go. So I have about 15 books to cover. I have a few from Marvel, one from Independent, and the rest is DC. And still that we're in the month of September, the lineup is still Marvel, sandwiched in with Independent, and we'll end it on DC. So let's kick it off with none other than issue 30 of Avengers. Bendis and Walter Simonson is still doing artwork on this. This is still gearing up for the end of Bendis' run on Avengers, his long run on Avengers. This issue pretty much stars, as you can see right here, the new couple, Spider-Woman and Hawkeye. Yeah, they're a couple. And this deals with pretty much, in a sense, after what has gone on with, taking what's after, issue number, round 11, in a sense. So while the Avengers are dealing with, the Phoenix Force and everything like that, a lot of the crime bosses have seen, like, well, the heroes are not doing so, now it's our time to strike and get what we need. And we get that in the form of Mr. Negative. Yeah, he is in this book, and he feels that, if anything, he wants to raid a SHIELD warehouse where all the weapons that the Red Skull had during the Blitzkrieg, during Fear itself, all those weapons she had and everything like that, he wants to raid it and get it for himself. However, Spider-Woman and Hawkeye intervene, and in between this, we also get a sense of their relationship kind of maybe on a little turn already, because Spider-Woman's really concerned about the relationship that Hawkeye has had with Scarlet Witch in the past, and she's kind of contemplating that and everything like that. But it's really funny because they're fighting and arguing at the same time, and poor Mr. Negative and his men are just like, like he's like, kill them, and they're, oh, would you shut up? And they're just knocking him around and things like that. It was kind of funny, but it was good to see a character that I actually like from the brand new day characters of Spider-Man make an appearance outside of just the Amazing Spider-Man, which is he's by far my favorite of the brand new day villains. But yeah, it was fun nonetheless. But they did contemplate that we're in this to the end, no matter what, as a couple, and yeah, it was fun. That's all it was. It was just a fun story. But the next issue is gearing up for the final story arc for Bendis's run on Avengers, his long run on Avengers, and yeah. All right. So we move on to the man without fear himself, Mr. Walter Sion, excuse me, Mr. Mark Waid, winner. This book has won the Ernstine Award for Best Continuing Series, so congratulations to all those who work on this series. Yeah, Daredevil number 18. Wow, still superb writing from Mark Waid. Boy, he's really showcasing. He's really making us longtime Daredevils fans think and contemplate a little bit. Is like, is Matt? How sane is Matt? If you've been reading up from issue 1 and to now, the last issue a couple of issues before, we've seen Foggy and Matt have a falling out because Foggy thinks Matt's gone insane after Foggy found the remains of Matt's father in his drawer. Now we getting more contemplating in this, where somebody's playing with Matt, where they have actually, Matt comes home and he senses someone's in his apartment. He comes home, he hears it, of course, and he senses the tone of pulse, the heartbeat, and he recognizes it right away. His ex-wife, who is gone insane, who's supposed to be upstate in an insane asylum, is in his bedroom and pretty much now just saying, Matt, honey, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. What's going on? So what happens? He calls Foggy and tells him, like, Foggy, look, I'm not crazy. This woman is in my apartment and something's going on. What's going on? So pretty much now, Foggy doesn't know what to do. So then, but also Foggy asks Matt to look into a situation that he needs to be. So pretty much after that, basically it gets kind of in there, and then it's the twist at the end of this book that really just makes you question: is Matt going insane? And how fabulous of a job is Mark Waid doing on this book? And the next issue we see a new rogues for Daredevil coming into the fold, which he pretty much looks like Valiant character Shadow Man a little bit, but he looks kind of intimidating and looks like a very good adversary for the man without fear, Daredevil. Looking forward to that. So once again, congratulations to all the people who contribute on that book for winning the award. It's been really good. All right, so we move on to the final issue of SpiderMan. This is issue 5 of the limited series, basically. This was good. I for one was like, basically, I know they're just doing this for publicity. At the time they were doing this before Amazing Spider-Man came out, so I'm like, oh, here we go. Publicity stunt, blah blah blah. Got the first issue, loved it, and of course, I'm probably one of the greatest Spider-Man fans ever. Yes, I said it. You want to fight? Come on. No. And I've really been loving Miles Morales, and seeing these two come together was magic for me. Bendis and Pacelli's artwork, superb. I keep saying, Miss Pacelli, get back on the original series. Okay, I want you back on it, because you really showcase Miles a little better than what's going on now. Who's artist now? No disrespect, but I liked your artwork better. So this contemplates the end of the issue and the team getting together and dealing with Mysterio. And pretty much there. Uh, Without spoiling too much for you, do they deal with Mysterio? Yes. Does Peter get back to his own? Yes, of course. Which was really fun. I like the ending of pretty much, Peter giving Miles his blessing and like, yes, you can carry on the legacy of Spider-Man. And I loved how Nick Fury said he gave you your blessing, his blessing. How do you feel? He's like, Miles is like, I feel great. So it was fun. It was really fun. Um, Tony Stark and his ultimate Tony Stark was really funny in this. Uh, what really was cool at the end, and it kind of ends like, okay, what? Is where Peter is in his apartment and he's like, Miles Morales. I wonder if there's a Miles Morales in my world. So he Googles the name, and all of a sudden he's like, and it just says no way, and you don't see nothing on the screen, and it just ends right there, and you're like, oh no, like, is there a Miles Morales in the 616 universe? And who is he? And that was the killer right there. But it ended kind of spot on. I got to give Bendis credit for ending it like that. Like, you're not going to know. Wrong. Or could there be a sequel to this? Something like that. So, but anyway, Spider-Man was really good. I really enjoyed it. A very good, you know, uh, limited series. Pretty much a mini series that was fun. I really enjoyed it. So once like I said, give Ben this credit. Sometimes he's a hit. He can be a hit and a miss sometime, or he starts out high and then he kind of doesn't end out so good. It gets low with a series moves on if he's just writing it. But this one was pretty much standard, straight to the end from 1 to 5. Really enjoyed it. All right, so keeping with Miles Morales, I finally caught up on my Ultimate Spider-Man, and Ultimate Spider-Man number 15. Bendis and Marquez is the artist on this. Now, like I said, I don't mind Marquez's artwork, but I wish Sarah Pacelli was back on artwork because I really enjoyed it. So pretty much this is basically the concept of what's been going on. This is still dealing with the United We Stand story arc that's been going on through all the Ultimate books. And basically, Miles is at school. He's talking to his friend Genki, and pretty much he shows Genki what Aunt May gave him. Aunt May gave Miles Peter's web shooters. Yeah, he gave it to him. She gave it to him, and he was showing it off to his friend. He's like, yeah, he made these. He's like some kind of genius and everything like that. And you see Genki messing with him and shooting the web up in the sky. And they're like one of because he's at like a private school. Like they stay at the school and they're like, and they lock the door. And he's like, why is this door? And he opens the door. And they're trying to get the webbing off. And so Miles had to use his super strength to pull the whole ceiling off. And then afterwards he was like, wow, this stuff is really strong. And it was really funny. We also get a concept of Maria Hill. The Ultimate Maria Hill makes her, I think, her debut in this. Excuse me. She's a detective now, but it does know she was a former SHIELD agent, but she left, and now she's a homicide detective, and she's talking to the Morales family about Miles' uncle, who was the Prowler, and what happened to him, everything like that. And that's pretty much all this leads up to. And of course, then Miles takes a trip to the Trilanium, the Ultimate's home base, and pretty much runs into Captain America. Then he's like, Spider-Man reporting for duty, sir. I'm ready to be an Ultimate. And that's pretty much it. It was just a really good standard issue story of Miles dealing with, now he's got the web shooters. How is he gonna? They even had the formula how to make the webbing and everything like that. So he won't just have whatever webbing's in the web shooter now and that's it. He's got the formula and everything like that. But he really can't make high heels and tails about it. So he needs Genki to help him out because Genki's supposed to be really good at chemistry and everything like that. But yeah, this was fun. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what happens next, because Cap said in a issue before that he would train uh, Miles. So hey, let's see where that goes. All right. So we move on to the final issue of the first story arc under Cullen Bunn, Venom number 25. This is the Monsters of Evil Part 3. Uh uh let's just put it like this. Bottom line, um bottom line, Flash succeeds in defeating Damian Hellstrom pretty much, and that's about it. I'm sorry. That's all I can. I'm sorry. That's the bottom line of it. He explains a little bit more of the marking on his chest, the hell sign and everything like that, and that's about it. But also, it gets more into the fact of now it's gearing up for the whole Minimum Carnage story arc that I'm really looking forward to reading. And that's it. That's all it was. For the first story arc of Cullen Bunn, half split pretty much, because it's it's not that the demon supernatural stuff is not good. It's just that not everybody really likes that kind of storytelling, and that's kind of the problem sometimes. That's the hardest thing with characters of supernatural nature, and you try to integrate them into somebody like Venom, who is supposed to be like a secret agent and so like that. And I got a few people that just are not really didn't really feel the story arc, including my mentor. He's just like, whatever. With me, it's like, I'm half and half. I'm not on board with it. I'm not off board. I'm neutral. So, but I'm glad to know this is over and we get into the Minimum Carnage between Flash and Kane gonna meet for the first time. So I think for the first time, as their alter egos. So, other than that, there you go. And I'm sorry, that's pretty much the way I could sum it up for you guys. I'm sorry. All right. Boy, man. This man has been knocking this series out of the park every issue. And once again, I think you've heard it from my mentor, and you're hearing it from me once again. So, behalf of me and my mentor, Blue Goblin, if you do not have this series on your pull list, you bets put it on your pull list. And that's none other than XFactor. This is issue 244. Peter David. This is part 4 of Breaking Points. Oh my God. This one is all about Banshee. I don't want to even spoil this for you too much. The bottom line is, Banshee makes a deal, literally almost, you can kind of say with the devil or not. She makes a deal that may just be a big mistake, or we'll see where this rides. You know what I'm saying? Lorna is still dealing with the aspects of what happened. M shuts her down pretty much, and there's kind of like an argument a little bit between Alex and M, but in the sense of it's like, oh, okay. But I don't want to spoil too much for you. You just got to read it for yourself. There was a real good touching sign between and Madrick at the end, but yeah, oh man, Peter David, continue to do what you do best on this book, and let's keep knocking them out of the park. Just good stuff, very good stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to spoil this book for you. I'm sorry. Good stuff. All right. So that's it for that's it for Marvel. The only independent book that I picked up, of course, comes from Dynamite, and that is none other than The Shadow. Number 5. I believe this is the final issue of I believe Warren Ellis, because I think issue number 6, a new creative team comes in. We left the last issue left off on a cliffhanger. General Kendo and Buffalo Wong destroyed the ship that Lamont Cranston and his partner and everybody was on, and that's where we pick up right there. And Buffalo Wong and General Kendo are just killing everybody that's in the water, just gunning them down. Bah, 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 bah. However, Lamont and everybody go underwater and get saved. But it gets more in depth there, and we start to get a little bit interesting of that Buffalo Wong and the Shadow may have crossed paths before, and he called the Shadow under a different name. He said, what do you call him? Alar? Yeah, Alalar. And the Shadow was like, a name I haven't heard in a long time. And he just guns Buffalo Wong down. No questions asked, without remorse, Shadow style. And it just gets more and more interesting. And you just want to keep moving on and going like, okay, what is next? What's going to happen next? And boy, has Dynamite been doing a good job of reviving the Shadow. And I've been loving it very much. Do yourselves a favor, people. I've always told people, don't just stick with the big two. Get outside of the big two and look at some independent books, whether it's Image, Dark Horse, Dynamite. Valiant is making a big comeback now. It does not matter. IDW, just get and you'll see that there's more than just Marvel and DC. Don't be just a Marvel fanboy or DC fanboy. Get outside of it, because Dynamite has been doing splendid with the pulp characters, and not even just the pulp characters that probably us children of the 80s grew up with, like Voltron and people like that. I can't wait to the Mask miniseries that's coming out soon by Dynamite. I cannot wait for that, which the Shadow is going to be involved in. Whew. Yeah. All right. So that was it. That's all independent. Let's move on to. Let's end it with DC, and I got about 7 DC books to cover, and the first one is probably another that ties for first, in my opinion, with the best story so far out of the 0 issues. Batwoman #0. Woo! Oh man, this was excellent. If you weren't a fan of Batwoman and you were just like, well, I only liked her when, Rucka was writing her, with Dark Knight and Detective Comics, and get on board again. This tells the origin of her. It's really written as if it's a last will and testament from Katie to her father, in a sense. And I love storytelling like that. Now, since the last issue we saw, she went to team up with, she went to introduce herself to Wonder Woman, so that there's going to be a team up between them. We get to see how she became Batwoman, all the training she went through, all the trials and tribulations she went through, and even the course of something I don't want to spoil, but all in all, the one thing she is constantly saying in this issue is that she respects and loves her father. She really loves her father. In the last issues, we've always seen that there's been some kind of animosity between each other. And leave that alone. Read this, and you'll understand that all that was a bunch of load of crap in a sense, because this issue we get, whew, and it's that ending, people, that really is like, oh man. But in the end, she still loves her father. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it does have something to do with her sister. This tied for first for me with Green Lantern Corps 0. This was good. Very good. Alright. Moving on. Birds of Prey 0. Peter Straczynski and Romano Molnar. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. That person's name right. I don't know if it's a male or female. This was good too. This was good. This is kind of telling the story a year before, they got together. So we kind of get to see how Starling and Diana met, and Batgirl and them, how these three met. Of course, it seems that Diana was working undercover working undercover. She got in leagues with Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin. And of course, that's where she met Starling and everything like that. And then, of course, Batgirl got involved, and they fought, and she basically told Batgirl she's undercover, she's trying to stop this, and it's Batgirl, so they kind of worked together after that. And it was interesting because at one point, it was also sent, I remember at one point back when they were fighting, because I had to get Batgirl she got her out so nobody can hear them talking, and she was like, we're on the same side, I'm on the cover, and she's like, what are you, CIA? And she's like, I used to be, but now I'm freelance. And I was like, okay, but then I'm like, but wasn't she a part of Team 7? Or something like that? But other than that, it was a very good, interesting tale of showcasing that Diana knows that she realized that she has to learn how to trust people again, after losing her husband and everything like that, and whose name was Kurt. And she realized that a team, people I can trust, I need it. And this was kind of the segue of formation of the Birds of Prey. But it's the ending which really contemplates everything full circle, in a sense, that involves the bitch, Amanda Waller, and Starling, which I don't want to spoil for you, and I don't want to ruin. You guys, if you've read this, you tell me what you thought about the ending of this. Birds of Prey 0. Okay. This issue I was a little disappointed in this one a little bit, but it was still okay, in a sense. Blue Beetle 0. Keith Giffen and Tony Bedard co-plot this together. This is a story of the Scarab talking to Jaime Reyes about the origin of where the Scarab comes from and how it was created, and everything like that. We see where it was created. We see that Jaime wasn't the first host organism it tried to attach itself to. There was a little girl that it tried to attach itself to, but it couldn't, because of this dark matter that surrounded her, and she would later be known as Lady Styx, which is kind of interesting. We saw that the Scarab made its way to Earth long before Jaime was even born or even existed, and it was pretty much um, in the hands of a Mayans king, I believe. It was a Mayan king or an Aztec king. I know his name was what was his name? It made itself into oh God, what was it? It a guy called I think it was a Aztec warrior known as king known as Sky Witness, and he basically Sky Witness, and he was hosted for him for a while, for a long time. The Sky Witness actually um they he ruled, he nearly, he pretty much ruled, almost took out nearly all the other tribes, almost including the Maya. It was crazy. It was really really interesting in a sense. Yeah, I think it was a Mayan soldier. Um, it got really intense until he got too old and he buried himself with the scarab. However, it was excavated years later, but this is where it gets a little bit dire for me because no no Garrison Gade, the first, Blue Beetle, no Ted Cord. It just went straight to Jaime, and then it catches up where it leads us all to where goes on with Jaime, and we see where Jaime is now. He's after we saw what happened in that god awful JLU annual, the JLI annual, what happened to Jaime, and that's where it leads up to there. He's on the Reach world, and we find out that this scarab is actually a traitor is known as a traitor amongst the others, the other scarabs. And yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. I thought we get to see maybe, the Garrison, the original Blue Beetle, and Ted Cord, but okay. So moving on, Tony Bedard gives us Green Lantern, New Guardians 0. This wasn't an origin. This is like some new development in that's going on now. Tony Bedard and Aaron Cooter artwork. So pretty much this is a team up between Carol Ferris and and Kyle Rayner. They team up to deal with the ramifications of what Black Hand has done. We also get to see finally Tom Kaluta Ku, the Inuit mechanic that works for Ferris. We finally get to see him in this, which is really really cool. It's interesting. Once again, cool to see some more supporting characters of the Green Lantern series. Uh, and we see the some of the ramifications of what has happened between Kyle, in a sense of like he can tap into the other power cores of the other cores. Yeah, at one point he was being overwhelmed by a lot of the Black Lantern, the zombies and things like that, and all of a sudden, like the power of hope integrated with will, and he was able to free himself. And that's where pretty much his ring tells him Hal Jordan is dead. Carol does not believe that. She cannot believe that. It's something about the connection as a Star Sapphire she has for her love. So she knows. Kyle's like, you know, it's right there, Carol. He's the ring to, and she's telling all this stuff like, Hal's told me that you're special. You were the torchbearer of the entire Green Lantern Corps. And you were special. And Kyle's like, really? He said that? And things like that. It was really good. I liked the chemistry between them. It was cool. And Kyle's like, okay, show me who his replacement. And we could see Boz a little bit. However, there is something at the end of this issue that just shows you that not only are those blue-faced bastards, the Guardians, up to no good, the Zomaranians, the creators of the Star Sapphire, are just in the same league with them. I'm going to spoil it for you right now, people. The creators of the Star Sapphires have also are going to destroy the Star Sapphires. Spoil it for you. Sorry, but you needed to know. Yes. Can you believe that? All right. Overall, the zero issues were really good this week, and I got 4 more for you guys, and we'll kick it off with Justice League Zero, Jeff Johns, Gary Frank. No Justice League. This is all about, yeah, look at it. Who's that on the cover? Yes. Yeah, this is all about Shazam. He takes center stage in this. I guess this is the end of the story, the miniseries that was going on throughout Justice League. The Wizard Shazam brings young Billy Batson to the, and Billy Batson gets to see all the sins, the deadly sins of man, and greed, sloth, wrath, all that. Let me just put it like this: the Wizard looks, oh my God, he looks. I don't want to call, but look, he looks like a homeless, bulimic, a homeless person who has not eaten in days. He looks so decrepit and old and it's like very scary. And Billy's like, oh, like, okay, but he's angry. The Wizard reads him and sees that he's like, I can't believe my magic brought a child here, and not even a good child. But Billy goes on to tell him, like, there are no good people in the world. And the Wizard's, he's like, no, there is. I have to believe that. And he's like, no, there isn't. But the Wizard takes another good look at Billy, and he sees there is a core of goodness in his heart. And, of course, he says, my time is short. You must stop Black Adam and everything like that. Say these words, Shazam. And he's like, Shazam. And the Wizard's like, no, say it with purpose and Shazam. And then, of course, here, I'll show it to you how he looks when he says it. When he says it, he's in all his glory. He looks in all his glory. I dig the hooded look now. I'm digging it. I'm digging the hooded look from for Shazam. I thought it would be stupid, but it actually suits him now. It does suit him. Yeah. Gonna be checking out the first episode. I will do a review on it on my main channel, people, when it comes out. Sorry, I'm just plugging it. But yeah, it was good. I did enjoy the first the look of him. And of course Billy is, he's all like, he's testing out his abilities, like, yeah, I'm strong, I'm big. And he sends him back, and now, lo and behold, Freddie Freeman is still outside of the rich people's houses that have been bullying him. And Billy comes back and tells him, like, Freddie, it's me, Billy. And he's like, and then he looks into Billy's eyes and he's like, wow, what happened to you? And Billy tells him the story and everything like that. And in a sense, now, at first, Billy is really playing with his abilities. Like, he's doing a lot of mischievous things with it until he sees a woman being about to be robbed, Billy comes in, hey, and leave her, and he tosses this guy like zoosh, and he throws him into a car, and he's like, oh my god, I didn't mean to do it that. And then the girl's like, oh, thank you, who are you? He's like, I'm just a guy. And um he's like, how can I repay? Well, I'm low on cash. She gives him $20, and he's like, look what she gave me, $20. And then Freddy's like, Billy, do you know what this means? We're gonna be rich. And they're like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, so we know that at first something's gonna change Billy. Billy ain't gonna be doing what the wizard purposely gave him the power for. And then there's another story in between that with Pandora. And it also the wizard comes to Pandora before he leaves. He tells her that he gave up the last of his power to and that she was purposely exiled by the Trinity of Power, the others, wrongly accused of something she didn't commit. And then there's more into we then after that there's a little segue into Hub City, and it looks like the question is coming. Yeah. But yeah, this was good. This was good too. I really enjoyed this very much. This was good. I was very impressed by Jeff Johns. Once again, as for a guy who is doing so much, he actually still delivered with the Shazam story. And Gary Frank's artwork was superb. Now, moving on to Nightwing Zero. Tom DeFalco and Kyle Higgins co-plot this. Now, once again, with the Bat family, certain with most of them, you would figure, oh, they, how much can we retell the origins, right? This was good. Another good storytelling of Dick's origin. Now we all know it had. We still get Boss Zuko. We still get Tony Zuko involved. This story was like one of my favorite Batman the Animated Series, Robin's Reckoning, times 1. Added a little bit more depth to it. That's how to sum it up. Also, the character of Dick is a little bit of Tim Drake involved in it, because here's what I'm going to spoil for you guys. It is shown that Dick has always had the ability to read people very well. Like, he can look at you and he'll read your body language and everything like that. When his parents died, he read Bruce Wayne very well. He's like teeth gritting, eyes blinkering, fluttering, everything like that. You see him talking to himself about it. And after a while, he doesn't go directly with Bruce Wayne at first. He goes into like this home for, keep safe while the cops pretty much try to find Zuko. Dick is always on the computer looking for Zuko, and he just goes out, dealing with his anger, fighting bad guys, and, fighting criminals, trying to get closer and closer to Zuko, until one night he sees Batman. And right then, once again, he's looking at Batman, and he's like, once again, teeth gritting, eyes fluttering. So, and Bruce just stays on his tail ever since then, and then finally he brings him to the Batcave, and he says to, no, after a while, he starts to look up Bruce Wayne. He like Googles Bruce Wayne, and he realizes that Bruce and I are almost the same. His parents died, my parents died, and we're dealing with it almost in the same sense. Forward more into a sense of when Bruce brings him to the Batcave, Bruce says as Batman, so if you find Zuko, what will you do? And he says, I don't know, Mr. Wayne. If you're trying to say, will I kill him? I don't know. And Bruce is like, what? And he's like, yeah, I've known you were Batman since I saw you that first night. And that's where everything just goes to fruition. And you saw him. He saw Dick going through his training, and it was showcased that he would go there because he had a part-time job at the Wayman. Even though Alfred was really against it, Bruce was like, he's not going to be in the field with me. He's going to stay on the computer and things like that. However, there came a time where something happened, and Bruce was dealing with a certain assassin who was female. Yeah, who was killed somebody that Bruce was trying to. Dick goes into action as, let me show you, the first time outside as the character of Robin. Dick put the costume together himself with, he made the costume with what he said was spare bat suits, like he made it himself, but he never wore it out in the on the field. He just wore it inside. Now that assassin is an assassin that actually going to be in issue 13 of Nightwing, and we kind of see now, we're starting to see why that certain female lady is gonna be, and yeah, this was fun. I really enjoyed it. A nice telling of Dick's origin and how he became Robin, and things like that. It was fun. If you know who guys should already know that assassin that I'm talking about. Even though I'm not really feeling the ninja look that she wears, because I love Shiva with her face being shown, but yeah, it was good nonetheless, because I got to see one of my favorite DC females, or villainous, or females. Yeah. Supergirl #0. Michael Green tells a real good story of just basically the trials and tribulation of Zor-El, the things he had hid from his wife, of sending Kara off-world. That's about it. That's pretty much it. That's all. It's plain and simple. It was a good story. Very sad, but good story nonetheless. That's all. I'm sorry. That's all I could sum it up, guys. And none other than, and last but not least, Wonder Woman, issue 0. Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang tell a very good, interesting backstory on an adventure that Diana had when she was a kid. And you had to feel for Diana in this, because she felt that she was always alone. She was never like her other sisters. She gets in leagues with War, and he kind of trains her along with her training as an Amazon and everything like that. And it was really good. This was just a very good storytelling, story-driven story, in my opinion. Brian Azzarello did a very good job. I was very impressed. Just good stuff. I've been loving his run so far. Wonder Woman. I may be the only one, but hey, I support what he's doing so far. And it was a good untold story of Diana when she was a little girl before she became this. Good stuff. All right. So that is it, guys, for this week. Give you a fast up note. I might be late with next week's books. Something has come up, and I might be late with the review. So if you don't see a review up, that means I'm late, and I'll just get it to you whenever I can. So no worries as always. But other than that, this is Mom Burning Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real, guys. I will catch you on the flip-flop. As always, ta-ta for now.